Look at the trail I made in the water.
Certainly.
Aw. Yes, I was counting. The end result was the number 4. 37 walked over to Sophia, raising 4 fingers seriously. That means what you did was spot on. 4 signifies justice and strength. Wonderful. Let me try again. I'll try to make more skips this time.
1, 2, 3.
Excitedly, Sophia picked up a few more smooth pebbles, only to receive a puzzled look from her companion. You got the right answer already. Why throw more? Question mark. The question made Sophia pause, and she matched her puzzled face. But 37 seemed to be more confused. Bigger numbers aren't always better. If you're testing your throwing technique, 4 is the best possible number.
Yeah.
Or do you want to test your passion and coordination? 5 would be better for that. No, I'm not trying to test any number. It's a game. The red-haired girl felt caught in the awkwardness of the moment. She hadn't been on the island for very long, and the seriousness with which they took arithmetic still left her feeling alien. Oh, so Sophia's not from there. Thankfully, she had a companion who was well-versed in these matters.
Oh.
A game. Oh, a game. Like katabos, where you fling wine dregs from 2-handled cups at dinner parties. I guess so. I mean, it almost sounds like skipping stones. She had agreed without really understanding the specifics, but not wanting the conversation to stall, or to disappoint her new friend.
Oh.
Ah.
Fine.
All right. I don't get the point of all this. Huh. 37's brow furrowed, as if let down by her companion.
So,
Throwing wine or pebbles, hitting a target, sinking a plate, or skipping stones on water.
does all this have any symbolic meaning?
What's the point of these actions? What are we trying to achieve? If it's about being the highest ranked, I get it. Like 210, he's always trying to get the top score in katabos. So is 6. He's always chasing at the end of each series. But sometimes it seems people do things without any purpose at all. That's a good point. Well, they're just playing. That's what most games are about, spending time with friends and having a fun time, without any greater purpose, I guess. Fun? You mean these things don't have any transcendent purpose? They don't climb up the hierarchy, seek knowledge, purify their souls, or seek out the truth? So all they're doing is idling in the sensory world. The young girl's tone grew much more distant, even cynical, surprising Sophia. No, I think, well, it's not entirely like that. Sorry, 37, I'm new here and there's a lot I don't understand. If I'm wrong. The blue-haired girl was resting her chin in her hands. She had already drifted away in thought.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying? She spaced out.
That's all right.
Never mind these trivial matters. We have more important things to do. Mother asked me to familiarize you with the island. So, is 4 the number you want to validate on the beach? Sophia tried to finish her apology, but 37 dismissed it with a wave. She was already caught in another train of thought. This kind of thing would happen several times until she got used to it. But back then, her still fledgling heart was unpolished by the sea breeze and sand, and she was full of questions.
37.
37, I still don't quite understand this apeiron belief in numbers.
I just think.
Before coming here, I dealt with numbers in my studies, but it was just arithmetic. When I solved problems, my dad would reward me with a candy, and I'd save them in a jar to buy flowers for Mom before going to the hospital. Oh no, something happened to her parents? Sophia realized she was saying too much. It wasn't the right context, nor did it concern her new friend.
But
Anyway, my impression of numbers is all caught up in those textbook exercises, far removed from these abstract transcendent meanings. Like I don't understand why you believe that numbers are eternal. Because they are eternal. 37's answer, more a declaration, was yet more puzzling, making Sophia regret asking at all and risking offense. Thankfully, prime numbers like 37 are nimble-minded. At least that is what she would say.
But
I don't know how to explain it with words, but I have the perfect example. It was Euclid who once proved that there are an infinite number of prime numbers. Prime numbers, like how 37 is a prime number.
certainly.
Yes, certainly. 13 is a prime, 23 is a prime, 37 is a prime, 337 is a prime. Their factors are only one in themselves. They cannot be divided by numbers. Prime numbers can go on infinitely, but how can we prove this? 37 enthusiastically wrote a series of numbers in the sand, finishing with a circle at the end. Euclid's method is to imagine the existence of the largest prime number. This is the circle. So we make a complete series of prime numbers, starting from the smallest 2 all the way to the largest circle. Based on this understanding, let's imagine there's a larger number, triangle. Triangle represents the multiplication of all prime numbers in the cube, plus 1. Clearly, it cannot be divided by any of the listed prime numbers. The numbers 2, 3, 5, or any number represented by a circle will result in a remainder of 1. If triangle is not a prime number, it should be divisible by a prime number larger than circle. Yep. If triangle is a prime number, then naturally it's larger than circle. Both scenarios contradict the assumption that circle is the largest prime number. She's so smart. Therefore, the conclusion is, there's no such thing as the largest prime number, circle. Prime numbers are infinite. 37 finished writing, clapped her hands, shook off the sand, and stood up beaming.
But
I heard about this theorem at school, but I still don't understand what it means, really. She couldn't grasp the transcendental meaning behind such specific mathematical theorems. To her, they were strict, correct, but nothing more than chalk particles on a blackboard, monochromatic, sharply defined, and barely soluble in water. And that was all. Mother told me Euclid wrote down this proof over 2,000 years ago. She said, the person who wrote this proof will die, the paper that recorded this proof will decompose, and we, who read this proof, will also one day disappear. Everything will be washed away like sand on the seashore.
certainly.
But this proof will endure, always correct, beautiful, and intricate, to be admired by every future generation. I suppose that's eternal. Exclamation point. Everyone on the island tells me I'm special. You are special. Prime numbers are like the foundation stones of arithmetic. All integers are derived from prime numbers. It's coming back to me, but I'm one of the set of infinite prime numbers. There will always be more, newer numbers, so I'm not truly special. But even if I'm just 37 grains of sand on the beach, I'm still encompassed within this infinite queue.
Yeah.
And there are an infinite number of such sequences. Sequences of integers, sequences of fractions, irrational numbers, each and every one infinite. 37 turned around, and now her eyes sparkled with the grains of sand in the sunlight. We're all a part of infinity, and I take pride in that. I think, Sophia, that is what eternity is. Under the bright sunlight, the grains of sand of the beach gleamed like gold. As she locked eyes with 37, it was blinding yet poignant. Don't close your eyes, as the scripture says. Do not shy away from anything beautiful.
Ah.
Oh. As time passed, I often remembered the theorem 37 told me. I never quite understood her world, this fascinating abstract kingdom of mathematics where every number is her friend. But in that moment, I caught a fleeting glimpse of the beautiful brilliance of eternity in her eyes. It was enchanting, inspiring, and admirable. It became the seed that led me to embrace the school. The beach changed in the days that followed. Ooh. The ship approached the shore. The emanation unfolded before our eyes, and cheers turned into sorrowful cries. Eventually, all that remained of what we lost were cold, lifeless geometric shapes. Yet, through it all, 37 stood unwavering. She poured incredible focus into her mother's research, never displaying any sadness or hesitation. Just like the theorem she spoke of that day on the beach, unchanging, resolute, immune to the passage of time. How could 37 stay so uniquely unaffected by the world around her? ... I couldn't find an answer to that question. All I could do was offer her my help, meager as it was. Wow. To be continued. Preface. Alright guys, welcome. As The Sands Remembered, a children's game. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Children's game. The lab's light bulb needs changing, and we may need more paper for calculations. 37 mentioned last time that we need.
Hey!
Oh, hey, Sophia. You look like you're in a rush. Something urgent? Not exactly. I'm just heading to the lab to check on 37's progress. 37. It's been a while since she's made an appearance on the beach. Perhaps she's still digging into those remaining records. No one else can handle them. Every time the emanation came up in conversation, the atmosphere seemed to darken in response. It was as if navigating around the edge of a storm. Don't worry, 37 will figure it out. And hey, take care of yourselves, both of you. We don't need you to wear yourselves out.
I understand.
Thank you both so much. Sophia extended her hand in a gesture of goodwill. After sharing those brief pleasantries, it was time to continue on their way. Scattered scribbled notes, piles of thick books, and stray strands of critter hair. It looked as if a flock of Abraxas had visited, or the lab had been caught in a whirlwind for centuries on end. Anyone would have been exhausted by such a sight. And amidst the panoply, the lab director herself lay sprawled across a table, lost in her own head. 37, have you considered tidying up this room? She moved nimbly, stepping over scattered books as he approached the long table. The notebook which lay beside 37 looked oddly familiar.
This is...
Is this... Someone had treasured this notebook, adorning it with illustrations and notes. Flipping through its pages, Sophia found meticulous data, validation records accompanied by engineering sketches. After a few more pages, the content started relating to things on the island, interspersed with sheet music and simple sketches, documenting seagulls flying by and the silhouette of a little girl playing. Finally, her fingers halted on a page with grids and a few math problems written on it.
Sophia!
Oh, Sophia, you're here. 37 rubbed her eyes and quickly shifted her attention to the notebook Sophia was holding. Oh, I found this little book while looking through one of these piles. There's an absolute plethora of notes inside. I wanted to see if there were any records relating to the emanation. 37 straightened up, carefully inspecting the page Sophia was reading. I remember this page. I was so young then, standing on my tiptoes to reach my father's desk. I told him how my friends seemed uninterested in games, and that I was struggling with math. He brought a stool so I could see the words as he wrote in his notebook.
It's just...
Sorry, this isn't really important. She closed the notebook and turned to 37. These are riddles for kids, far too simple for you. Don't waste time on them. Everyone's waiting for the next phase of your research. I'll take this notebook with me.
No.
No, Sophia, these aren't just for kids. I just found out that the answers form an interesting sequence. They might relate to celestial rhythms. That's Hugh's area of study, right? Look, this number seems to follow an octave pattern with the next one, and these symbols are unique too.
I think...
They're all related to the number 3. It must be a trick using a combination of triangles. I've tried several solutions. She listed one intriguing discovery after another. 37 pontificated, glowing with increasing focus and enthusiasm. It was reminiscent of her past lessons on the beach and countless nights researching the emanation. Armed with that intense curiosity, she sought answers in everything. Unwavering, unchanging.
Well...
Fine. If that's the case, then I'll help you find the answers, 37. But let's be quick. Afterward, you'll refocus on your main research, right?
Sure.
Of course. It shouldn't take long, I'm almost certain. First, we should find a spacious spot, something close to the one described in the notebook. The notebook rustled in 37's hands. Her fingers skimmed the pages, capturing fleeting sparks of inspiration as she sped toward the lab's exit. Sigh. I hope this won't take too long. Should I really let her waste time like this? To be continued. Beach walking. Strolling along the familiar path on the beach, everything looked as it did before. The sand was sand, rocks only rocks. Earthly elements, far from anything transcendental. But it was an unwritten doctrine of the school. A walk by the sea helped one contemplate the truth. Oh, I missed that flock of seagulls.
Ah, be careful!
Careful, 37, next to you. The startled birds flapped and cawed, shaking off in a flurry of sand and feathers. 37 brushed away the debris that landed on her paper, continuing on without fuss. Sophia caught up with her, hurrying from behind, at last breaking her focus. Something wrong, Sophia? Oh, nothing. Any new discoveries? Not yet, but I've thoroughly dispelled the dark clouds from my mind. The sea breeze may not aid in finding the truth, but it is invigorating in its own way. But as if to challenge her claim, a yawn escaped her. So sleepy. Dude, this is really relaxing.
Yay!
Look, it's 37. Have you discovered anything interesting lately? Care to tell us about it?
Or like this?
Perhaps we should start calling 37 the Star of Hermes, like 210 does. I mean, it sounds like an honor, doesn't it? Anyways, good afternoon, 37. They passed a group of children who overtook them with curiosity and warm greetings. Everyone had known of 37's curious methods for her research, and so few were surprised to see her strolling along the beach with the notebook in hand. Afternoon, playing hopscotch. Better move a bit further, or the waves will mess up your lines.
Let me
Waves.
think.
Each drop in the waves moves in a circular motion. When the crest of a wave exceeds 120 degrees, they crash with a whoosh. But the answer sequence seems unrelated with these waves. What could it be then? She briefly dove back into her thoughts. But as their leader approached, she snapped out almost as quickly. 266, 267. Oh. The leader sidestepped them, around them silently, as if trying to make a quick escape. Such efforts rarely turned out as expected for him.
Huh?
6, you're here too. What methods are you examining with your walk? Are you counting your steps along the beach?
I think...
Perhaps you are taking 6,666 steps because you're 6? Oh, but that number isn't optimal. 6 deftly avoided 37's quizzical advice and changed the subject.
Why aren't you in your laboratory?
I discovered some puzzles Hugh left behind, so I opted to decode them with Sophia. She happily waved the decorated notebook in her hand towards 6.
Actually...
These puzzles are mostly children's games. I can assure you 37 won't waste too much time on them.
Sure.
They are indeed rudimentary. Oh, I figured out the clue I overlooked. Thank you, Sophia. I have it now.
Essentially...
They're games, so you must play through them to understand Hugh's intention. And it just so happens there are already 3 of us, you, me, and 6. Imperceptibly, 6's hair stood on end, like a fight or flight response. Sorry, there are other matters that called to my attention. We used to play together often, didn't we?
I think...
The present is no different from the past. Time is merely a procession of knots on an infinite rope. It doesn't matter where you start counting.
No.
Thank you for your invitation, but... As 6 spoke, he took a step back. The language was clear, implying that the conversation should end there. Unfortunately, these social cues were lost on 37.
Fine.
Excellent. I'd like to use this beach to gather anyone interested in the game. I assure you it'll be done before dinner, but we simply cannot ignore this pressing issue. Very well. 6 turned to Sophia, nodding an almost imperceptible plea to her.
In addition,
Please evaluate the feasibility of 37's proposal.
I shall leave this with you.
But I'm afraid I must take my leave. He took a step forward, pausing for a moment. I'll start from 268.
Thank you.
Finally, he resumed his interrupted walk, narrowly escaping 37's notice as she returned to her thoughts. You know, 6 is the best riddle solver among us. He used to say the most interesting things, but now he's become naught but a walking scroll.
Actually...
6 has become the leader of the school, and our leaders need to be even-handed, objective, forthright, flawless. 6 has so many obligations. We all have our own tasks that need doing. Well, then my task is to understand the true meaning behind these exercises. She raised the collection of children's games high. For the island's chief researcher, it wasn't the most fitting action. 37.
Perhaps.
Maybe these exercises don't have any meaning at all. Huh? 37 blinked, as if Sophia's words had no imprint of meaning at all.
I think...
They are just children's games, and you already know the answers to each one of them.
Perhaps.
I know you think the sequence of answers has some significance, but maybe they are just random numbers. All things considered, we still have. Their conversation could have carried on about people's expectations, duties, and obligations, but the sea breeze suddenly drowned out her voice. 37 didn't hear her, or perhaps she didn't care to. It's those kids, look. 37 looked into the distance, completely engrossed in the next moment. Come on, Sophia, hurry up. I'll help you ask. Hold on, don't go so fast. Her words were lost in the swaying of 37's robe as she dashed ahead. She was always one to act on her thoughts immediately, seizing on every idea and squandering her inspiration, yet she could reach heights others only dreamed of. Not long ago, she rushed out of the canteen in the middle of dinner, bewildering everyone present. But a day later, she submitted her initial speculation on the distribution of emanation, which was just as soon verified. When asked about it, 37's response was understated. Oh, I simply noticed a striking resemblance between the patterns of the emanation and how my sesame seeds were arranged.
Perhaps so.
It was her strange genius. She bent down to pick up a pebble buried in the sand and tossed it as far as she could. As the stone skimmed over the water surface, it created several ripples, conjuring a stream of memories. Wow. Faint sobs collided against the smooth geometric surfaces, leaving faint and hollow echoes. But a hurried set of footsteps obscured any other sounds.
Certainly.
Sophia, you're here. I have something for you, something you'll be interested in. 37 handed over a glass bottle. The rolled up paper inside looked jagged, as if it had once been a corner of a worksheet. You wanted to know your soul number, right? I saw it, so I wrote it down here. Her tone was as proud as ever. It was a prime number, one that carried a meaning of hard and piercing brilliance. It was a memory that was willfully forgotten. In the last moments of her memory, the glass bottle traced an arc through the air, landing in the sea. As the ripples dispersed, calm returned.
Sophia!
Sophia, Sophia. Her friend's call brought her back to reality.
Brilliant!
There are more people interested in this game than I thought. In no time, 37 returned with the participants she had found. Shining with confidence, she seemed ready to start immediately.
Uh-huh.
All the necessary conditions are met now. We need to proceed in order with the game. Let's start with the first question. Will you help by observing us, Sophia? Of course. I'll validate your calculations and check for any errors. The red-haired corrector nodded. Of course, not every question needed an answer. Now they all had their own tasks. Beach walking. Tell participants to choose a shape. 37 will summon the participants to the game. Follow the prompts to converse with the participants in the scene, confirming their respective selected shapes.
Hello there.
So, let's start by choosing our shapes. Starting from the left side, we'll all choose one by one. She lifts her notebook high, showing it to the crowd around her, waiting for instructions.
Please wait.
Choosing from these 7 geometric shapes, I think I'll choose an order. The monad, that from which all things originate, I choose this symbol to show respect to Apiron.
It's like this.
Oh, you're right. I love the unity and universality of it.
The question is...
I choose this line segment. Made of 2 points joined together, it represents both fusion and division, with endless possibilities.
That's great.
No problem. That's an interesting point you bring up as well.
I think...
We need one more shape. 1, 2, 3. I'll take this one.
Perfect number.
There's a nice golden ratio hidden in the star shape, so it's a good choice. Good. Now we can start inferring. After confirming the selected shapes, the game can officially start. Follow the prompts on the left to gradually form the argument. Inform participants of the game's topic.
Let me think.
The first question in the notebook is, there is a well 8 meters deep. Oh no, it's a math problem. A small snail starts climbing from the bottom. It climbs 3 meters during the day and drops 2 meters at night. How many days will it take for the snail to climb out of the well? Oh my god, I'm gonna make a fool of myself in this video. That's the question. Did everyone hear it clearly? I can read it again. Everyone shakes their head in unison.
It's like this.
The game is simple. We just need to line up in the correct order to represent the steps that solve the question. After ascertaining the topic, corresponding deduction steps will be allocated to the participants.
For instance,
The monad represents climbing up 3 meters.
Yes.
Got it. The allocated deduction steps will be recorded in available shapes. Okay.
here you go.
The line segment represents dropping down 2 meters.
Yes.
I'll remember that. Okay.
And then,
Finally, the pentagram represents adding 1 day.
perfect number.
I think everything is set now. Try to solve the puzzle, start deduction. Yes, okay. There's 1. Okay. When there's an error in the argument, the corrector will fulfill her responsibilities. If you don't know what to do, you can borrow the Star of Hermes Eureka to shed some light on how to solve the puzzle.
For instance,
The key to this is the chronology. The snail always climbs upwards during the day and drops downwards at night. You need to arrange the shapes according to the requirement of the question. If the order is incorrect, you won't be able to argue. You'll need to eliminate the errors first before you can continue solving the problem. Tap here to explore problem-solving ideas that may help you complete the demonstration. Okay, so we want to drop 2 meters, add a day, climb. Oh wait, hold on. So, climb 3 meters, drop 1. That's 1, add a day. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah. Answer in the bottle. Prices. Answer in a bottle. How's it going? You followed all the steps in order, right?
yes,
Yes, I've numbered them and made notes.
that's great.
Wonderful, that will be the most valuable resource. Now on to the second question. The women in plain robes continued with the game, methodically going through. It was nothing more than a simple game for kids. To the corrector, it all seemed amusing. Here they were brilliant minds, meticulously recreating child's play on the beach, instead of tackling the great questions of their age. Do you really think this game holds any significance? As soon as Sophia asked this, the women recording the answers turned and gave her a smile. Feeling bored?
No.
Not really. 37 believes that by completing this game, she'll understand some hidden meaning in the sequence formed by the answers.
Actually,
But my father was pragmatic and always focused on the present. Like me, he didn't have an eye for these sorts of abstract things.
I think...
I doubt his notebook could contain any of the transcendental meanings 37 is seeking. Honestly, at first glance, you can easily see the results. The answers to each question form a 10-digit number, 633343433. I can't see its value, but 37 must be doing this for a reason. After all, she's always the first to grasp the essence beyond our understanding. Essence. She had never associated her father's notebook with the notion of some transcendental essence. What essence could a set of children's exercises in an old book possibly hold?
I don't know.
If this is just a waste of time, it could erode everyone's trust. Then I... The corrector furrowed her brow with worry. She felt as if she had to rectify this mistake.
Sophia!
Sophia, what's on your mind? Her friend's sudden appearance caught her off guard, forcing her to take a step back.
It's just... Never mind.
She forced an adjustment of her demeanor, hiding any sign of her flustered thoughts. I was just thinking, 37, are these games perhaps too simple for the others? Are they? 37 tilted her head.
I think...
But there's nothing simple about any set of numbers, nor any set of answers.
Essentially...
Indeed, the simplest numbers often hold the deepest meaning. Even as a number as singular as 1 holds the
like this.
origin of any mathematical thought, I believe the problems in this notebook are no different.
I understand.
Of course, you're always right, 37.
Perhaps...
But perhaps instead of these simple games, we could work on more important things. 37 finished her sentence, catching the red-headed corrector off guard once again. 37's eyes followed her as she took a step forward and fired off a series of questions of her own. Sophia, you keep repeating yourself. So then, what's the most important thing to you? There could be many answers. Their research on the emanation, the school's public affairs, or perhaps even just the fate of this small island. But... No, go away, 37. I know you're right. You're always right, but I don't want to know. I don't want to know my number anymore. The glass bottle shattered the water's surface. The splash rang heavy and bitter. I'm sorry. They both knew the ancient instruction, know thyself. But the most important answer had already been swept away by the waves, lost in the endless depths of the sea. I feel like this is a story more about Sophia.
I think...
Sorry, 37. I don't know that I can answer you right now. It's such a profound question, and I don't have an easy answer.
Perhaps...
I suppose I need some time to think about it properly. I need to check our inventory. I hope your research goes well, 37. She spoke the words quickly, feigning calm. But it wasn't so easy to turn and leave. 37 held Sophia's hand firmly. Someone once taught me a problem-solving technique. When you're at a loss, try changing your mood. It's a useful trick, one which I've tested many times. If you don't have anything more important to do now, why not play the game with us? You still haven't participated in Hugh's game yet. It was always so impossible to let go of that hand.
Well...
Alright, but remember, you promised to finish before dinner.
Sure.
Of course. Anyway, Six is still walking around the island. We have time before he comes. Come on, Sophia, let's tackle the next question. Answer in a bottle.
What's the next question?
The second question is, a fur ball with a pretty geometric pattern on its head finds 12 grapes and intends to carry them back to a cave 6 meters away. Alright, it can carry up to 6 grapes at a time, but it eats 3 grapes every 3 meters as it advances. How many grapes can it bring back? 37 reads the question word for word, then turns expectantly to Sophia. Invite Sophia to pick a shape.
Sophia!
You did promise to come play just now, didn't you? Of
Well.
course. I wasn't just saying it. The corrector reluctantly confirms with 37 again. She will stay and
It's
participate.
like this.
Then take a look at my notebook and pick whichever shape you like.
Perhaps.
I'll think it over. Do you have any suggestion? If
Let
I
me
were to
think.
make a suggestion, I would say that this rectangle's a good fit.
This is...
Is it because of the meaning of 4? Justice in order that's indeed suitable for a corrector. Oh, her number is 4, isn't it? Thank you, 37. I think this is the
The
one.
scripture says...
I remember you did a proof about it. Not that it left much of an impression, but I believe there was such a thing.
And then...
However, in this question, the rectangle represents returning to the pile of grapes.
I understand.
Got it. That said, 210 sometimes drops grapes while walking, but I've never seen those fur balls following him.
Essentially...
The description of the question isn't rigorous enough.
Perhaps...
Maybe it's because he always talks so loudly, so the critters don't dare come near.
Your number...
This time, the line segment represents advancing 3 meters. Got it.
Maybe.
Alright. Return to the grape. Advance 3 meters, return to the grape pile.
Hey!
Let me see. This time the monad represents moving forward 3 meters, or is it 6 meters?
No, that's not right.
It's carrying as many grapes as possible.
Uh,
Well, it was just a wild guess. Confirm the final step yourself. Okay. There's still the step of putting down all the grapes, which belongs to the pentagram. Man, these words are so hard to pronounce. Drop all the grapes. Okay. This is like calculus. Start deduction. So, carry as many grapes as possible. Advance 3 meters. Return to the grape pile. Carry as many grapes as possible. Advance 3 meters. Carry as many grapes as possible. Oh wait, no. Advance 3 meters. Please try again. Return to the grape pile. Carry as many grapes as possible. Advance 3 meters. Oh, I need to drop the grapes. What am I doing? Advance. Drop all the grapes. Return to the grape pile. Carry as many as possible. Advance 3 meters. Carry as many grapes as possible. Advance 3 meters. Okay. Behind the puzzle. Okay. Answer Sophia's question.
What do you need?
So, did you get the result you wanted, 37? Maybe after a few more questions I'll discover the common pattern.
I think...
Alright, let's hurry. We still have time for one more question before dinner.
Oh!
Hurry up. Oh, you're right, Sophia. She flips through her notebook, seemingly with a new idea.
It's alright.
I'm glad you
Thank
agree
you.
with the suggestion. Let's continue on as it's written.
No!
No, we don't have to verify the same thing over and over. Initially, I just reduced the sequence by 3, and now there are 2 more duplicates here, 3 and 4.
Subtract 1.
Alright.
Then subtract 1.
Let's skip some redundant parts. I'm sure we'll clear up the rest soon enough.
Hello there.
Who else wants to join the game? The eager little boy is the first to step into the field.
Like I said.
I've been thinking about this while watching everyone play. I want to choose the hexagon, because it's perfect and it has the number 6, just like our leader.
Yes, exactly.
but he hardly ever participates in such games. At this point, I prefer your approach.
Yay! What's the next question?
This question's somewhat different. Based on the description, in what position is the hexagon?
For instance,
I'll show the notebook to each of you, and you just need to say the corresponding order. Can we deduce where the hexagon is from the left based on how many shapes are arranged?
this is...
Among the two shapes adjacent to me on both sides, there is no monad. I still don't know what a monad is. A monad is not either of the two neighboring shapes.
The question is...
My position, oh, I see it now. There's more than one shape on my right. There is more than one shape on the right.
It's really good.
I'm neither the furthest left nor the furthest right. Okay.
No.
There are no shapes on my right, but there's a big crowd on my left. Oh, I can solve this. Now it's my turn. Standing to my left is a line segment. Okay. Start deduction. No shapes on my right. There is more than one shape on my right. The monad is not either of the two neighboring shapes. The line segment is adjacent to the left. Neither the far left nor the far right. Oh, okay.
Sophia!
Sophia, was the game helpful at all? 37 rushed over as Sophia descended from the playground. Were the problems fun, inspiring, or perhaps dull? Should the results be logged or just discarded in the corner of the lab?
Actually,
Well, they weren't as dull as I expected. Breaking down the logic was pretty straightforward. For a kid just arriving on the island, it's a decent puzzle.
perhaps...
If I played these as a kid, I might have warmed up to math more. Perhaps I'd even have understood the whole everything is numbers thing a little. But in the here and now, they don't feel very practical, nor enlightening. Oh, I see.
Let me think.
No luck, it seems. What could we be missing? With obvious disappointment, 37 flipped through the notebook once more, diving deep into her thoughts again. It was getting dark, and the others began leaving the beach. It seemed 37's game didn't yield any results. For her assistant, this seemed like the expected outcome. These games appeared to be more of a basic educational tool than something profound. It's time for dinner. We've run out of time we've requested from 6. There's...
No.
No, wait. It's not over until I go for dinner. 37 stared at the grid lines on the beach as if she was rooted there. The puzzle represented by these numbers would be on her mind all night, replacing thoughts of roasted rabbit and honeyed bread. Although it was clear that this number sequence didn't hold any profound meaning at first glance, what if everyone just hadn't looked deep enough?
Perhaps.
Maybe we can give it another shot tomorrow. When Apollo, excuse me, first rides out chasing the dawn, we might discover a fresh... something. Do you think so? Otherwise, you'd stay here all night? Sophia sighed, once again realizing she was indulging 37. I don't understand, 37. Why are you so convinced there's some hidden significance in this sequence of answers? Because it's right there. I feel it, if only vaguely. When Hugh jotted down these numbers, they contain a strong emotion. So you're going with your intuition? Intuition. At the mention of that word, the girl's expression dimmed. Back in her childhood, before she came to the island, when she was known as an arcanist, she was familiar with this term. Sensing, listening, understanding, beseeching, being fiercely focused, and seizing inspiration, it was all familiar to her. But she couldn't see the flash of genius whenever she pleased, playing around with them as if she was catching butterflies. What did having such an ability really mean?
Sophia!
Sophia, come on. If you don't get to the canteen now, only the soup base will be left. 37 had maneuvered nimbly over a line of seagull footprints and waved to beckon Sophia ahead. Hold on, I'm coming. And remember, not every question needs an answer. We have more important things to do now. This is a very calm character story. Mornings on the beach were meant for quiet strolls and relaxation. Sophia's plan to arrive early and clear her mind seemed wise. But things rarely went as expected here.
Sophia!
Sophia, you're late.
Uh-huh.
I've been here since Apollo rose to meet the dawn. The crowd surrounding 37 seemed even larger than yesterday as she hopped and waved at Sophia. At the center of the crowd was another familiar figure.
Meaning?
What perfect timing.
Attention, please.
Hey everyone, come gather around and take a look. 210 was holding up a magazine. My submission isn't any more childish than this game she's playing. Some chuckled. It was a common occurrence for the islanders familiar with their banter. 210 confidently presented the magazine to Sophia and 37. The magazine pages were a mess. Amid frivolous news and various announcements, a crumpled mathematical proof huddled in the corner. Fortunately, the author was still identifiable.
This is...
A treatise on the linguistic structure of truth. 210, is that your name?
In fact?
Certainly, it was no easy feat given our island's isolation to get this published, but where there is a will, there is a way. Submitting these mathematical essays to outside publications is just the beginning of my many accomplishments to come. I think he's overblowing the difficulty of reaching out. And is this really a mathematical treatise? Seems like a lot of words. Sophia flipped through the magazine quickly. It was nothing more than a common railway journal. 210's essay was listed in the excerpts and anecdotes column. To publish a paper on truth in a magazine like this? The editor's comment is, although the content is obscure, the wording is elegant and worth citing. That's impressive nonetheless. Well, he was just cited. The compliment was genuine, and the already haughty theorist's confidence grew even more. 37, though, crossed her arms in a breathless huff.
No, that's not right.
I've read that article. It's pure sophistry. Your premise is flawed and the central thesis overcomplicated. The beauty of mathematical truth lies in its simplicity. These nonsensical embellishments only lead to misinterpretation. It's cumbersome, frivolous, and most importantly, it lacks good process.
I think...
This is all just clever rhetoric, lacking in any substance. Wasted space and meaningless platitudes.
Meaning?
Is that so? More meaningless than all this child's play? Or perhaps this game is simple enough for you? Are these piddling lessons in basic reasoning and arithmetic the truth you're looking for?
Have fun, 37.
Well, that makes sense for a child. Carry on with your fun and games, then. The arguments, conflicts, grandeur, and aspirations converged on a single number.
210. Your number.
Your numbers clearly contain 2, 3, 5, and 7. You've just lumped them together without using them effectively. Oh, so now you're accusing me of being insincere? That I'm making frivolous gestures only to flaunt my intelligence?
Well, that's outstanding.
How very logical of you. But all this debate allows me to speak the truth that the others are concealing from you. These are games for children, 37.
Meaning?
There are no revelations to be gleaned from your stubbornly pursuing some childish arithmetic.
In fact?
Oh, but we all trust the brilliance of our Star of Hermes, and oh so willingly serve as a companion star under your guidance. But surely our brilliant star should consider others' duties and responsibilities, no? Sophia stepped in, breaking the tension at just the right moment.
Actually,
Don't be so serious, 210. We're just passing the time before breakfast with some games, and 37 isn't forcing anyone else to join in. But I agree, perhaps these games are too simple. In your opinion, what changes would it need? Obviously, the question should be harder, and there should be scores and rankings, and some sort of elimination or revival mechanism. All the participants should be grouped on the beach, competing in groups of 3, and special areas and specific time slots should be scheduled.
no.
What? Absolutely not. 37 forcefully interrupts 210's excited rulemaking.
Object.
This game and its questions were left behind by Hugh for a reason. It's simple because it was designed for children. I don't want to compete with anyone. I just want to understand the hidden meanings within the sequence of answers. Hugh left. Of course, if it were more complex, then the participants might enjoy the thrill of its intellectual pursuits.
I think.
But the beauty of the game lies in its simplicity, just like numbers themselves. Stripped of all embellishments, 1 is 1.
The essence won't change.
People, stones, trees, and physical things decay, deteriorate, and change, but 1 remains. This is a simple game, yet it holds the most wonderful wisdom.
You haven't truly understood it.
There's no need to make the simple so complicated. All these facades may grab attention, but it strays from the game's
Meaning?
true essence. So you yourself admit it's dull and monotonous. I simply articulated the same meaning with words to make them more convincing without distorting the truth. Some of his followers in the crowd nodded as they listened. They were captivated by his rebuttal. Such analysis, discussions, and endless numbers was an everyday occurrence in this school of thought. 37's response was to draw several squares on the beach. I learned about this from Sophia. Hopscotch is a popular children's game elsewhere. The rules are simple. 1 hops from one end to the other. It was easy enough to learn, and I've never forgotten it.
Meaning?
So our star has learned hopscotch? I hope you weren't expecting surprise. No, I mean, it's easy to play because of its simplicity. For this reason, it spread from where Sophia was before, and now the children on our island play it too.
That's great.
37 acknowledged her young supporters and carried on. If we complicate the game, won't we lose its true essence? It was a splendid debate, and some followers had already started betting seashells on which side would win. On the island, such debates might continue from early morning until a long time, but if that were to happen, 37's game would be unable to continue. The corrector felt the need to intervene.
I think.
Of course.
You're right. Yes, of course, 37 is right. About what exactly? As you said, it's a children's game. Its essence cannot and will not change. I'm curious, though, about what insights you can glean from such simplicity.
Or,
Everyone can see the numbers at a glance, yet you believe there is some profound meaning in this combination of answers. 210 spread his hands in a mocking gesture and shrugged. It's just time wasted, nothing compared to the pivotal proof uncovered by our great Star of Hermes.
have fun, 37.
Go on, figure out how much this children's game is worth caring about. I'm eager to see the outcome. Listen to 210's statement.
Of course.
The game participants have to choose a shape, then I'll take this triangle.
That's outstanding.
I was curious why you didn't choose it, as 3 is perfect and harmonious, and really ought to be your liking.
But you, our Star of Hermes, are the gold hidden in the sand on the never-ending beach.
No. It doesn't make sense. Just fragments.
You always correlate things that are completely different in nature. 37 clearly has more examples for refuting. She takes a deep breath, straightening her back like a seagull perched on the nearby rocks, seemingly ready to throw out more arguments. Alright, now is not the time for debate. The corrector timely intervenes to prevent the argumentative atmosphere from deteriorating.
Fine.
Sophia's right, we can't forget what's important. Oh, I remember, a children's
That's
game.
outstanding.
We'll see who's more correct in due course. Loudly and clearly state the puzzle.
For instance,
A merchant needs to transport a wolf, a sheep, and cabbage across a river, but can only take one at a time. When he's not around, the wolf will eat the sheep, and the sheep will eat the vegetables. How many trips does he need to make to cross the river? Oh, this one's tougher.
and then
This question.
Of
It's
course.
very simple as expected. 210 quickly takes over the
Well,
conversation.
that's outstanding.
How about I help you assign those steps? I plan to experience the game for myself. You can take a little
Cool.
rest. Oh, it seems you don't need the ladder. There is no sign of fatigue from 37. She holds her notebook high, trying to get it level with 210's line of
it's
sight.
like this.
I think this is clear enough. Remember, don't miss a single word. Okay.
Attention, please.
We'll start with myself. The triangle represents loading the wolf onto the boat.
Or,
Next is the monad, loading the sheep onto the boat.
in fact,
The line segment, loading the cabbage onto the boat. He quickly and briefly rattles off several corresponding steps.
Sophia.
Now it's the turn of our Star of Hermes and the
Like I
corrector.
said.
And please don't forget me.
That's true.
The hexagon, good. So, you represent unloading all the cargo.
Of course.
Finally, 37, the Star of Hermes, rows the boat to the right bank, and Sophia, the methodical rectangle, rows the boat to the left bank.
Have fun, 37.
Please check if I've said anything wrong or missed anything. Sophia takes the notebook from 37, reading it word for word. After careful scrutiny by the corrector, the answer is deemed correct.
Thanks a lot.
No need to delay further, let's just start sorting. Try to solve the puzzle. Okay. Simulate the transportation process and find the minimum number of shipments needed to cross the river. Okay, so I think we should put the wolf on the boat and the vegetable on the boat. Where's the vegetable?
And then
This boat is too small to carry more than one thing at a time. What? Okay, fine. Alright, so row the boat to the right bank. Oh, are we going left? Okay, I guess we're going left. Remove all cargo. Go back to the right. Let's load the vegetables. No such cargo on this side of the river. Oh, oops. Row back to the right bank. Wait, are we on the right side or the left side? So... Oh, oops. Okay, let me reset. So, put the wolf on the boat. The boat's on the left. Wolf's on the boat. Row the boat to the right. After you leave the shore, the cargo is promptly... Oh, I get it. Okay. We need to take the sheep first. Then move to the right bank. Unload cargo. Probably. Row back to the left bank. Put the vegetable on the boat. Put the wolf on the boat. Right bank, remove our cargo. Move back to the right. Put the wolf on the boat. Oh. Wait. Oh, do we take the wolf next? Or take the sheep next? So we brought the cabbage to the right. Take the take the sheep. Now take the sheep. Yeah. And go to the left. Remove all cargo. Put the wolf on the boat. To the right. Remove cargo. Back to the left. Sheep on the boat. Right. Remove cargo. Okay.
Thanks a lot. In fact, this is what people call genius.
Object!
Debate never ceases with a temporary pause. It's like a shark lurking underwater, slowly moving. Now it has found a good opportunity, showing its dorsal fin while the corrector gazes at the water. Alright, very nice. Just numbers. The sight in front of them seemed much like it always did. The salty breeze and the grains of sand carried by it. Two figures strolled hand in hand. No one cared about the children sneaking away from the congregation. They just had to be careful to avoid getting caught. Wow, this place is so beautiful and wide. It's much bigger than my yard back home. Have you ever played hopscotch? Sophia pointed towards several lines drawn in the sand with shells. So Sophia used to be interested in this. Together the lines formed clumsy squares. Jump from here to there, but don't step on the lines or squash the shells. I used to play this game before I came to the island. It's different from hide and seek. You can play it alone too. That sounds fun. But I can't understand the meaning of the lines. They don't form a pattern I can recognize. Maybe I need more time to understand their meaning. 37 playfully kicked up sand, twirling around. Why do we only jump on the squares? Adding a 9-point circle to this game would be nice. 4 inscribed circles, 12 tangential circles. It'll be amazing if you only jump from the points. She shared her thoughts, trying to convey what she saw in her mind's eye. Her tone grew earnest and persistent, trying to illustrate the things she imagined. Yet it was like endlessly picking up shiny pebbles on the beach. Just like today. 210 always tries to make simple things complicated. He just wanted us to finish the game's problems.
The scripture says...
Well, of course the scripture says, one who does not divide the problem into 3 parts cannot achieve true wisdom. But that's no reason to propose 3-player matches. The present scene intertwines seamlessly with past memories unaffected by time. The girl's rare smile piqued her companion's curiosity and she came over. Sophia, what's on your mind? What's made you so happy?
I
was thinking, since the emanation, we've hardly ever gathered together like this. 6 became 6, you've taken over your mother's research, and 210 is always so busy with his proofs and fraternizing. Even discussions like the one we just had happen so rarely now. Yet after all this time, you remain so resolute. It's like you never changed. Maybe you haven't noticed, but I have changed. Raising her hand high, 37 gestured from the ground to her head. I've grown taller than before. And my hair's longer and harder to manage now. It takes much longer for you to comb it. Not these surface level changes, 37.
Fine.
Oh, then I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Sophia!
Never mind that. I need your help, Sophia. We're down to the last 2 questions, just a stone's throw from the answer. I was hoping we could finish it together. There's even more people. Look for the last participant.
It's like this.
Everything went as I said, and it didn't take much time.
A perfect number.
Just one more shape to go, so we need one more person willing to play. 37 turns to the crowd, waving her arms in an open invitation. A little girl who had been watching for a long time is nudged forward by her friend.
Or like this.
I can do it. I wanted to choose for a long time. This last heptagon. I'd like to pick it. 7 is a unique and respected number. The believers nod in agreement. This number is quite familiar to them. As a prime number, it is indeed special in some ways, but that's not important now. Well, we'll know the answer soon enough. All 7 participants are ready. 37 tilts her head, unconcerned about the discussions around her. Sorry, it's almost bedtime for me. We have to complete the game together, so this question is for you, Sophia. I'm leading everyone for the last question.
Here you go.
Well, I can't think of any problem with that. 210 didn't make any mistakes just now. If you could do it smoothly, of course you can too.
Well...
Okay, I'll try to be careful not to mess it up. Wait for Sophia to read the last question. This question is, arrange everyone's seat in order. Where will the rectangle sit?
I understand.
The rectangle? That would require confirming my order. Firstly, the rectangle is on the left half of the line, but not the leftmost.
That's great.
My seat is right in the middle of the line.
Of course.
Unfortunately, I'm far away from the Star of Hermes as possible. The pentagram gram is almost at the farthest distance. I'm adjacent to the heptagon. We can play together. I'm as far from the monad as the triangle is from the pentagram.
Sorry.
According to what the notebook says, I'm not adjacent to the line segment. The triangle's not in the seat adjacent to me. So it's a quiet seat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. I knew you'd do great.
That's great.
Only the final sorting remains. Don't worry, it's pretty easy
It's all
too.
right.
Glad I could help. The corrector hands the notebook back to 37, observing the squares in the sand.
I think...
Maybe it's like this. Let me try. Try to solve the puzzle. Okay, I'm not adjacent to the line segment. The distance from the triangle to the pentagram is equal to my distance to the monad. The distance from the triangle to the pentagram is equal to my distance from the monad. Okay. Oh. So like that. Not adjacent to the line segment, okay. Located in the left half but not the far left. Okay, not adjacent to the triangle. Sitting adjacent to the heptagon. Ooh. In the center of the lineup. Okay. The pentagram is as far away from me as possible. Oh, okay. Okay. Sitting adjacent to the heptagon. Distance from the triangle to the pentagram is equal to my distance to the monad. Oops. Oh, okay. And then in the center, sitting next to the heptagon, located in the left half but not the far side. Oh, so I should reverse everything, huh? So, let's do that. This. Oh, not adjacent to the line segment. Distance from the triangle to the pentagram is equal to my distance to the monad. And located on the left half. Sitting adjacent to the heptagon. Pentagram is as far from me as possible. Okay, hold on. Let me reset this. There's too much going on. So what's on the... So this is in the center of the lineup. The pentagram is as far from me as possible. Located in the left half, but not on the far left. Sitting adjacent to the heptagon. Not adjacent to the triangle. Not adjacent to the line segment. Distance from the triangle. Distance from the pentagram is as far from me as possible. The distance from the triangle to the pentagram. Triangle to the pentagram. Oh, wait.
For instance,
Triangle and pentagram should be as far apart as possible.
for instance,
With the monad and line segment equally apart. Distance from the line to the monad. Triangle to the pentagram. Sitting adjacent to the heptagon. What? Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh my god. Ugh. Closing her notebook, 37 felt every detail course through her body. The result was clear. From the beginning, everyone could see the number laid bare on the paper. That was... oh my god. I'm not reading that. A composite number divisible by 41. Its largest prime factor was that huge number. If you saw it as a sequence, it was a simple combination of 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3 appeared 6 times, 4 appeared twice, while 5 and 6 appeared each once. Whether you look at it as a number or sequence, it still feels like something's missing. He used annotated shapes must hold the key. I just haven't figured out what those little points mean yet. 37 pointed to an ink blotch on the notebook directly under a hexagon.
Or,
It's just an accidental smear.
it's like this.
But look, there's the same mark below this question later on too.
in fact,
Sometimes, for convenience, they put a dot over repeating decimals in infinite series. That dot's above, but this one's below. Perhaps Sophia's father thought 6 had its limitations.
No, that's
make-
not right. I...
or,
no, it doesn't make sense.
Look, only the questions whose answer is the number 3 have this kind of pattern. It's a small puzzle related to the number of triangles.
I think...
My father did love geometric shapes. I think 37 might be onto something. Feeling supported, 37 confidently continued.
I think...
I thought if I experienced the game firsthand, I'd understand the meaning behind these marks and sequences. But I still don't get it. There's
Let me think.
something missing here, and it's because I don't understand Hugh well enough. If I were Sophia...
oh,
So the conclusion is there's no secret to this game after all. In that case, it looks like I've won.
210.
Don't be so hasty.
The scripture says...
Says the learned remain silent. They listened attentively and take others' words seriously. So perhaps you will show yourself to be a proper learned scholar. And let me finish without interruption! Exclamation point. The teachings also exhort us to listen to the sound of the wind.
Meaning?
They demand that we earnestly listen to everything to expand our thinking. Have you considered that I too am part of everything? Think about your arguments. Simple games can hold the most beautiful wisdom.
In fact?
And now you realize that this wisdom eludes you because you don't understand Hugh well enough. Can't you see 37? I don't even need to knock your castle down. It's already a puddle of quicksand. 210 sarcastically shook his head, implying that the conclusion was self-evident. Unyielding 37 crossed her arms.
You haven't truly understood it.
More meaningless rhetoric. Calm down and let me explain. The beauty of wisdom should apply to everyone, yet you want to uncover truths through personal relationships.
Or?
Maybe the sequence indeed holds meaning, but perhaps it's just a personal note Hugh gave to his daughter. After all, it's not a collection of axioms, it's a personal notebook. These numbers might only hold meaning for Hugh and Sophia, but what use do you have for them? The scripture also says, do not easily extend your right hand to others. In other words, one should attend to their own affairs. Yet, the Star of Hermes eagerly takes away others' proofs and treats them as her playthings.
Meaning?
Aren't the materials left by your mother enough to pass the time? 210's mockery was evident in his words. But his opponent remained steadfast.
No.
No, the teachings mean that we shouldn't easily impart wisdom and knowledge to those who don't appreciate it. You've twisted its meaning. Once you enter the temple, you cannot turn back. In the pursuit of truth, insufficient knowledge is worse than total ignorance. Since I've begun exploring this, how can I stop halfway?
Essentially.
And the meaning of numbers isn't determined by anyone. They exist, unrelated to time, space, or who we are. We're not someone's property.
Right?
If none of us know the sequence, how can we assert its nature? The conversation veered again towards the endless back and forth. Oh no. The corrector felt torn, caught between the two. Mediating disputes was her strength, but this seemed, despite their emotions, to be a well-reasoned debate. Maybe she should leave them to exhaust the truth. It aligned more with their scholarly approach. As she pondered this, 37 suddenly turned to her. In that case, let Sophia be the judge. Oh no. Uncover the secrets in the notebook and see who's right. I agree, let the corrector determine the truth. Oh, so this is how it's going to be. She sighed, regretting her momentary hesitation. It would be too difficult to refuse the expectant gazes of her friends. Fine,
Well.
I'll make the judgment. First, let me go over the game properly. Sand and gold. This island holds so many quirks, and 37 possesses the greatest of them all. She was born with her own set of numbers, always clear about where she's headed. When she speaks of those never-ending numbers on the beach, those beautiful proofs, it feels like coming face to face with eternity. At the same time, I deeply understand my own simplicity and ordinariness.
There's nothing wrong with letting the stars shine where they should. And those who look up will continue to look up.
Tidying the lab, managing her hair, listing supplies, receiving guests. There's no need for these little things to occupy 37's attention. Her time should be spent on more significant research. But beyond all that, 37 is like a bright star, newly born. She disregards conventions, is curious about many things, and has a playful, carefree spirit, just like any other childhood friend. 37 has her own pursuits. And I have a task to complete. Verify the answers 37 gives. She touched her father's notebook, closing her eyes. She remembered many vivid fragments. Sifting sands on the beach, the sting of her fingers as she polished his lenses, the fragrance of cinnamon and chickpeas lingering in the air. A ship cleaves through the water's surface, approaching the shore before disintegrating amid fading cheers. Then everything moved forward, beyond the surging waves, back to humble streets. Memories from beyond the island that belonged exclusively to Sophia reaching back to her blurry childhood impressions. She was different from that lone star suspended in the sky. She was born to the tangible and belonged to this dim world of phenomena. She rummaged through her jar of memories in search of some trinket worthy of trading for a coin. Indeed, she was a diligent, serious girl. And so, after examining every small stone in the jar, she finally found a satiating answer. I understand now. 6333 434 333. This isn't just a string of numbers, a sequence, a proverb, or some new truth we've yet to comprehend.
This is...
It's a musical score. Oh. What's that? The word wasn't within 37's scope of thought. She widened her eyes in surprise, showing her curiosity plainly.
Actually...
People often use this method to notate melodies. This musical score is the beginning of a song. It's quite a popular tune in my hometown, one which my father loved to hum. He must have poured his heart into these questions. Listen to Sophia sing that familiar song. The sea breeze whips over past the rocks in geometric shapes, scattering a handful of fine sand. The grains gather into tiny mounds at the edge of her shoes. After helping 37 with the validation, the crowd dispersed into groups to go about their own business. Only a few figures remain on the beach.
Is everything, all of it, just about this number? Will it explain everything?
Pick up the scattered syllables. Arrange the scattered notes to play the phrase. Start deduction. So 6. Yes, that's the candy hidden in the jar among the stones. The calls of the seagulls, the sound of the waves crashing up and down, and the sound of my own breathing become calm and distant. Except for that song. At first stumbling and hoarse, soon the song became fluent, resonating across the quiet beach. I knew numbers could be music, but why didn't I think of it earlier? I was so close. A musical score, but I've never heard of this notation method. 37 didn't stay low for long. She quickly perked up, genuinely praising her companion's revelation.
Brilliant!
That's a lovely song, and you sing it well, Sophia.
Well, that's outstanding.
I suppose everyone got what they wanted. You've solved the puzzle. Sophia uncovered the song her father left behind. And I won.
Object!
Why, my initial theory was correct. The string of numbers did have a deeper meaning after all.
In fact,
But you glossed over the musical score. As I foresaw, this had nothing to do with you from the start. It's just a distant hometown ballad that a father left for his daughter, with no profound meaning, no wonderful wisdom, no transcendent truth. But you just had to whimsically stir things up again to satisfy your curiosity. Everything tilts around you, regardless of whether it gets disturbed, shattered, or at times accomplished.
this is what people call genius. But you, our star of Hermes, are the gold hidden in the sand on the never-ending beach.
Everyone's willing to play along, after all. Flocking to a genius is much more interesting than following an ordinary person. But I played the game and verified it. And I told Sophia there must be a secret in the notebook. This was a rare moment. 37 was at a loss for words. Bewildered, she looked at Sophia with a furrowed brow, hoping to hear a judgment strong enough to defeat 210. I agree, 210 has won. Alright, 437. Her shoulders slumped as all the inspiration that had driven her thus far vanished in a breath. This time, 37 didn't perk up again. Excuse me. Instead, she hung her head and kicked at some sand before burying her head in her robe like a seabird.
Actually,
It's true. This notebook doesn't contain the wondrous wisdom of the scriptures. The string of numbers could only be solved by me because others didn't know Hugh. 210 was the first to predict this result. That's undeniable.
I think...
But I still believe that 37 achieved her goal, too. Sophia's words spared 37 from sinking deeper into the shallow holes she'd already made in the sand with her feet. She froze, waiting to hear what Sophia was going to say next.
Actually,
No matter what you think, it was 37 who first uncovered these numbers, bringing this memory back to me. If it wasn't for her determination, I wouldn't have had the chance to hear this song again. I still remember what 37 told me about the proof of the existence of infinite prime numbers. Sophia smiled at her, as 37 nodded, both enthusiastic and confused. My father, Hugh, was a corrector like me. He was the previous person responsible for handling matters off the island. But over time his name faded into obscurity, leaving behind only a sharp-edged cube, a dusty notebook, and a pair of broken glasses. Like the formula 37 once etched on the beach, his memory has long been washed away, although Hugh's spirit has returned to its source. We can still hear the melody he left behind. Perhaps the one who first sang the song has been swept away by time, faded into nothingness. But his notes still echo into eternity. Just as we recall the proof Euclid penned over 2,000 years ago. Like 37 said, the power of proof lies in its simplicity and universality. This tune holds a certain universality too.
actually,
Yes, it's not a mathematical theory in the truest sense, and it doesn't speak to the essence. It's only a gleaming shard left by Hugh, like grains of sand reflecting faint light on the shore. Yet, this universality allows it to persist through time, crossing vast spaces and arriving at this moment in place. Let's take a moment to listen to this song. To simply listen. The disputes and differences dissolved in the soft breath of the breeze. Dude, that was such a good character story. Oh, and we're not done yet. Ooh, we have one more chapter. Endless shoreline. I used to think other people's opinions didn't matter to 37. Even in the most heated arguments, she never paid them much attention. With ordinary eyes, it's difficult to perceive changes in the vastness beyond us. But now I understand how to notice them. The faint scrape of fingers brushing over geometry, the different grains of sand I scoop up when I bend over. The changes are slow and gradual, but they're there. Apollo's star has risen again, or risen high, and the Star of Hermes game has ended. It was time to head back to that room filled with scattered papers. 37, what's on your mind? 37's steps were unusually slow. She wondered if the verdict had hit her harder than she predicted. The ever-scrupulous corrector began to regret her decision. Perhaps it would have been better for 6 to maintain the balance. Sophia. 37 started somberly, her words flatter than usual. I hope I didn't waste your time. Do you think it was all just a pointless game? The doubt spilled out of her, eagerly awaiting an answer. Of course not. That song means a lot to me. It's a precious memory. Are you upset, 37? You didn't seem so down when we listened to the song earlier. Well, that's because it had such a lovely cadence, and you sang it so well. Her praise came sincerely and quickly, no doubt about it. But what surprised me was when you mentioned that proof about infinite primes. I remember it, but I have no idea when I told you about it. Of course, I remember 37. It was a beautiful proof. I'll always remember it. But that didn't comfort her much. Distractedly, 37 grabbed at her hair. Whoa, what? So, have I messed up your memories of Hugh? Barging in, disrupting your memories, and leaving a mess behind. Sophia widened her eyes slightly. 37, are you still bothered by what 210 said? She averted her eyes. That was rare. Sophia, what's so funny? Sorry, I just never thought I'd see you care about something he said. You're right, you really have changed a lot after all.
Sure.
Of course, didn't I tell you that? It's not just my height, I've even changed where I sit at the table. As the distance between me and the table changes, so does the best angle for catching the sun. So interesting, from her perspective. I'm not talking about height or seats. Sophia shook her head with a soft smile. It was a gentle, rare, loving gesture. 37, do you know why I've never forgotten that proof about infinite primes?
Actually,
Because it made me ponder such distant things for the first time. Before, I didn't care about what eternity meant. It felt like nothing, some faraway notion.
I think...
Now I stand here, fully aware that the island under our feet will one day disappear, washed away like sand by the tide. But I also believe some things will endure, like grains of gold buried in the silt. The island was vast enough to house an entire school of thought. Yet it was also so small, a speck in the waves. And we, living amidst it, could only remember fleeting memories. Yes, because the world we see is transient. 37 nodded seriously. This topic was more familiar to her than discussing dinner plans. You shared it with me because of the eternity and beauty that the infinite holds, and its universality, its universally true nature. From then on, and in turn, I shared Hugh's song with you. If it brought you joy, that means it has meaning for you too.
Perhaps.
Maybe it's not the transcendent essence you are seeking, but those who hear the song will feel it, remember it, maybe even hum it one day. That is universal beauty too.
Oh!
So that's it, I get it now. The confusion vanished from 37's face, and she returned all at once to her usual cheerful self. This song isn't just for Hugh and Sophia anymore because you shared it with us, right? So it's universal and belongs to everyone who hears it, just like the proof I shared with you. Why are you laughing again, Sophia?
Never mind.
Oh, it's nothing. I'm just thinking about how you're always turning everything into a proof to understand it. When it's as simple as enjoying music with friends. I suppose I still can't quite grasp this kind of simplicity. 37 thought hard about this, puzzling over it like a new problem. But thankfully, she soon had a new idea, as always. Sharing is really a solid argument. I bet 210 would struggle to argue against it. I knew my viewpoint was right. I'm going to tell him right away. ... 37 hurried off and caught up with 210, who was leafing through another magazine.
Meaning?
What now? Sophia's declared I won and nothing can change that.
Object!
You were just a spectator, making random guesses while I uncovered a valuable song. Believe what you want. I've said enough today. I'd like a bit of peace and quiet now. He deliberately slowed down, trailing behind Sophia and 37. 37 took it as 210 conceding, and her steps became light as air. Well, except for some trivial details, everything went smoothly today.
Perfect number.
It's the number 9, the trinity of peace, friendship, and harmony. Absolutely perfect. Oh, that's right. 37 turned to Sophia with a sudden recollection, joyful smile spreading across her face. Oh, Sophia's 9?
Sophia!
Come on, Sophia, give me your hand.
Here you go.
This is for you. Oh, don't give her the number. Oh. The feathers, shells, and pebbles formed a lovely decorative chain. There was a lone pebble next to it. Is this for me?
Sure.
Oh, of course, and this one, I found it on the beach just now. The pattern forms a fantastic number. You can add it to the chain, or, give it a toss in the waves. Is that 9 rocks?
Thank you.
Thanks, 37.
That's great!
I came to the beach this morning to give it to you. But I found myself sidetracked and completely forgot.
It's all right. They are beautiful.
That's great. Shall we hang again tomorrow, Sophia? I'll catch up with my research in no time. Well, the day after tomorrow could work too. We could make this a regular island activity. Now was the time, relaxed and pleasant enough for her to ask what she had left unsaid.
Is everything, all of it, just about this number? Will it explain everything? Sure.
37 answered without missing a beat. So 37 is just one number in the infinite progression? If it's not, what else could it be? 210, 37, 6. Even if we're gone, those numbers won't disappear.
For instance?
Just like you don't need 3 seagulls, 3 stones, or 3 people to prove number 3 exists. Numbers exist outside of all that.
Thank you.
I think I understand your answer. I've got some other things to take care of. Let's hang out later if there's time. Deal.
Oh!
Wait, I see 6 coming back. 37 waved at the dot on the horizon as a seagull swooped above them. She sprang up, greeting the leader.
Uh-huh.
Good morning, 6. 210 and I had a disagreement over something, but the sequence, it's connected to a song.
Afraid I don't know much about songs.
But it's only logical, isn't it? Is there any doctrine from our past that fits this situation? Thinking things through can help purify one's intellect.
We need.
Perhaps a period of quiet contemplation would be helpful.
Fine.
That doesn't suit me well, I'm afraid. Alright, I'll come up with more convincing new arguments on my own. It was clear that 37 wasn't satisfied with 6's suggestion. The debate would keep going in the coming days. Oh, the scene. Watch your step, or you'll trip.
It's like this.
Don't worry, as long as I stick to the right order of steps, I won't fall. Don't forget, we've got to hurry or we'll miss mealtime. That seagull looks as starved as her. We could calculate the seagull's speed by counting steps. Where did we stop counting? You can spend all day counting seagulls on the beach tomorrow.
Well, that's outstanding.
That could be the topic for my next essay. Planning to cover up a weak argument with a bunch of superfluous dribble again? Alright, you two, let's pick up the pace. There are other ways to figure out its speed.
284 steps.
Thank you.
And the time it took us to get here is... Wow, I think this is my most favorite character story because they really put a lot of thought into every single thing that happened, and they did a great job with just every time you would think that one person was in the right, there was a way to add a little detail or change your perspective in order to make the other side right. So it was a very intellectual experience. Enjoyed it very much. We learned about 37, about Sophia, 210, and 6. Very cool, guys, as the sand remembered. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. This was more for just my memories, but if you guys tagged along, thanks for joining me. I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.